Wisdom. It's an incredibly valuable asset. Some would say more precious than gold. It's attractive, appealing, admirable. Conversely, a lack of wisdom is the basis of immaturity, blind spots, and bad decisions. Wisdom. It can be gained over time, but it can't be rushed. But wisdom can be shared. That's precisely what we are here to do right now. Today, we are here to hack wisdom, to distill it, to understand it, and to process it. Why? To get better at life. Welcome to the main thing. This is your new 9-minute podcast. I'm your host, Skip Linneberg, and I've set out to interview the wisest people I know. We'll see what we can learn from each one when they're faced with an incredibly difficult, soul-piercing question. Welcome back to the Main Thing Podcast. I'm your host, Skip Linneberg, coming to you today from Parkwood Studios with a new dose of wisdom. Mountains are special to me, and if you likewise enjoy climbing mountains, whether literally or figuratively, you're going to absolutely love today's show, and you will be enthralled by the stories of our wise guest, Lei Wang. In 2004, Lei, who grew up as a Beijing city girl with no athletic training, set out to climb Mount Everest. She was on a promising career track in finance with an MBA from Wharton, but she was excited about proving that an ordinary person could climb Everest. That excitement empowered her to not only climb Everest, but to become the first Asian woman to complete a journey to the summits of the highest mountains on each of the 7 continents and to the North and South Pole, a feat that's known as the Explorer's Grand Slam. She has inspired people across the world to dream big and really achieve that fulfilling life, work, and relationship that they're truly excited about. Today, as an executive coach, speaker, author, and adventurer, Lei travels the world to ascend new summits and empower individuals and organizations. She joins us today from her home in the Seattle area. Strap on your crampons and shoulder your pack. Get ready. Over the next 9 minutes, you will discover why Lei Wang is one of the wisest people I know. Lei Wang, welcome to the Main Thing Podcast, and thank you so much for making some time to share wisdom with us today.
Skip, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Lei, let's begin by helping our listeners understand how you and I are connected. I'll start the story, and please fill in with any details from your side, okay?
Sure.
I got a message on LinkedIn from Lei.
I was reaching out to you for another guest on your show, and then you replied saying, actually, I think you might be the great one for my show. So
yeah.
That's how we started the conversation.
That's how our relationship began, and I'm so glad that it did because you are a fascinating person, and rarely have I been more excited to do the podcast with someone than I am right now today.
Thank you.
Lei, you have a fabulous book you shared with me. It was published in 2016, and it's titled After the Summit, New Rules for Reaching Your Peak Potential in Your Career and Life. Lei, in the book, you mentioned that if you haven't fallen in mountain climbing, you haven't tried hard enough. I just wondered if you would share with us how you've reframed falls on mountains and failures in your life.
Well, I think falls on the mountains or failure in your life, that's just a learning step. Because we all know if you never failed, then you probably never tried hard enough. Then you're never going to want to expect phenomenal success. So only if you learn the lessons, you can grow much stronger from there.
Yes. I love that. That is such a rich perspective. Lei, I want to go back to your story. Everyone has just heard me introduce you, and you are famous for climbing mountains, and some of the tallest mountains in the world, in fact. Take us back to that first moment when you had the thought, I, Lei Wang, am going to climb Mount Everest. What sparked you to have that idea?
Well, at that point, I was in my early 30s, and I realized I looked healthy, but actually I was not. I actually was worried about my health down the road because I was working in the corporate, working long hours, sitting all day. I realized if I keep going like this, will I be able to have a healthy life by the time I'm in my 40s, in my 50s? So I decided I need to do something to change my health. I need a motivation to go to the gym. So I thought, all
Yes.
right, what about you dream for Everest, shooting for the moon? Then you can land on a star, which means you can go to the gym.
Okay. Okay. And unlike many who would have picked that as a goal, you actually did it.
Yeah, that surprised myself too, because I literally at the beginning think, okay, if I can keep on going to the gym, that'd be a success. But then once I started learning a little bit about climbing, I just found myself totally falling in love with climbing. Then just kept on going and going before I realized, oh my God, I'm stepping onto Mount Everest.
And in each step along the way, really stepping out of your comfort zone, weren't you?
Yeah, every time when I embarked on that trip, I always think, okay, this time it's not possible. This time it's going too far. But I'm still going to go make a try. So I surprise myself every time.
Lei, as I read your book, I learned about mountain climbing through your stories and your illustrations. By the way, I love how you took an adventure story in each of the 7 summits, but you gave us life lessons that we could apply to our work and our family life and our personal growth. So I love that. I got the sense that reaching the summit, this goes back to the summit only being half the journey, in many instances it was harder to climb down, to descend the mountain from the summit than it was to reach that peak on the way up. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's exactly true because most of the mountaineering accidents actually happen on the way down.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're looking up to the summit, you are so pumped. You are on high alert. You're putting all your energy, your focus on that. But on the way down, you are exhausted and
Right.
you kind of relax a little bit. That also puts your guard down a little bit. That makes it dangerous. And technical wise, it's also more dangerous to go down.
Sure. That makes total sense. Well, thank you. Let's be honest, it's not easy to ask for help or talk about money. Hey, it's Skip here, and many listeners like you continue to ask me, what do you need to continue to develop and build this show? Well, for context, it takes our team about 15 hours of work to produce each one of these packages of wisdom that we deliver to you in podcast form. Really, what we need is funding to cover our costs. So in response, I formed a site on the Patreon platform where you can elect to become a supporting patron of the Main Thing podcast. Now, there are 3 levels you might consider, ranging from $6 to $27 per month. It's all safe and secure, and you can explore the options at patreon.com/the Main Thing podcast. Now, how will we use the funding? Funds provided by you and other patrons will be used to defray the costs of production, promotion, and our recurring technology expenses each month. In short, you will be helping to keep this pipeline of wisdom flowing. Thanks. Lei, I would love to talk more and more and more about mountain climbing, but as you know, this is a short format podcast, only 9 minutes of your wisdom. So I want to ask you the fundamental question that I ask each and every one of my wise guests. Lei Wang, what's the main thing you've learned in your lifetime so far?
Skip, the main thing I have learned in my lifetime so far is cherish every day. Make the best out of every day.
Cherish every day. Make the best out of every day. That is so special to me. I have discovered that wisdom and have had to live that way in recent times. I wonder if you would guide us along the path, be our climbing guide as we unpack your wisdom.
Yeah, so this line is very simple. We hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, live every day to the best. But after coming back from so many trips, coming back from failures, coming back from up and downs, this simple line means much, much deeper to me. So it's about gratitude, about positive attitude. Because every day, if you think about every day as a gift, you're going to feel everything around you, you appreciate much, much more. You treat everyone with gratitude. You treat everything happening with gratitude. And also you see everything in a positive light. So that is a fundamental shift in your everyday approach. And to do that consistently is really hard, actually. However, that's crucial because a lot of times we talk about leadership is about leading through some big challenges or
Right.
doing something so phenomenal. The truth is, when the time of calling your true color comes, you actually revert to your normal behavior, to your daily habit. So if on a daily basis you are not consistently exercising gratitude, positive attitude, then when the time comes, need you to put in your best effort, you're going to crumble
Yeah.
unless that is your daily routine, daily habit. Then it's natural. You don't even think that's a big challenge. It's just, okay, I'm just doing what I'm normally doing at this moment. Then you're going to find it much easier to achieve whatever the goal you are setting out for or the big challenges in front of you.
Ah, yes. Lei, I love that. When did this light go on for you? When did it shift and this become the major wisdom truth for you? If you could think back and what was going on in your life at that time that you really embraced this?
Well, because there's so many trips, when I was going for the summit, I was like, wow, it's so hard. Other people are quitting. I try to analyze why other people are quitting. Why is it hard for them? But for me, why I didn't feel anything different because I was merely doing what I was doing every day, except I'm doing a different situation. Sometimes it's trying to survive in an extreme situation condition, or sometimes just trying to endure the forever push to the summit and I still have to survive on the way down in the storm. That all I was doing was just keep having a positive attitude, keep having this gratitude for the experience. And that's just what I was doing in the day on a daily basis. Then I realized simple thing is very, very easy to say, but it's the hardest thing to do.
Yes, yes, indeed. Lei, another thing that you've helped me to learn or perhaps rediscover is the inherent risk behind invincible self confidence. I've always kind of lived that way, just thinking if I set my mind to it and if I don't give up, if I keep mind over matter, I'm going to prevail. But as you've taught me through your book and through our conversations, that sometimes the mental is not enough, and sometimes we need some physical components to go with us to help us get all the way where we want to go. Is that a fair assessment? And can you take us a little bit behind the pitfall or the inherent risk with invincible self confidence?
Yeah, so if we really think ourselves invincible, then we're going to take on sometimes the risk beyond what we can handle. So that means you have to have some humbleness to recognize your limit, recognize your weakness. And that limit, that weakness, it's not a permanent weakness. It's something right now, maybe my skill set, my physical ability is not good enough that I need to improve, need to
Mm,
work on that. It doesn't mean I'm just going to give up easily. It's just about striking this balance. And also, it's not about limiting yourself. It's just right now I realize I need to go back home to learn more, to train more. And that is okay. It's not saying no to yourself forever.
perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you. That really clarifies that for me. Lei, if listeners want to connect with you or purchase your book or inquire about your executive coaching, what's the best way for them to go about that?
Yeah, please go to journeywithlei.com. Lei spelled Lei, journeywithlei.com, or you can email me lei at journeywithlei.com.
Perfect. Perfect. And I'll put both those links in our show notes so listeners can click in and make it easy. They don't have to write it down right now. Lei, we would love to just tap into your experience and have you share more stories. But because it's a short show, I just want to finish up by asking you if there's anything else today that you hoped we would discuss that we haven't covered yet, or anything that you want to share with our audience of growth-minded wisdom seekers.
Yeah, I think just as you said, growth minded. That means when I said treat every day as a gift, make the best out of every day. Also, constantly think how you can learn something, grow every day. That means you need to read something, or you need to seek out a coach. Need to find a good friend, partners that who can help you to grow. make best out of every day means you have to keep on growing every day too.
Perfect. Lei, great wisdom. Thank you for sharing that. That's a great place to leave it. I just want to thank you so much for your time today and sharing your wisdom and your wonderful stories with us.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's such a fun time.
My pleasure. Wow, 9 minutes is up. That goes by incredibly fast, doesn't it? Time flies when you're hacking wisdom. I hope you're left wanting more. Sync up with us again next time on The Main Thing for 9 more minutes of wisdom.